Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Mark Sebastian, Chief Operating Officer over Option Pit, to discuss volatility that we've seen in the Nasdaq 100 or Nasdaq Volatility Index, or what we call VolQ. Mark, it's great to see you. Welcome back to Trade Talks. And there really has been no shortage of ideas out there for vol traders.
Absolutely. Volatility is at really, I think, a turning point here for the Nasdaq 100. VolQ is trading around 25. That's pretty frothy for where it's been lately. And the VXN, which is the VIX of the Nasdaq 100, trading around 27. So they're right on top of each other. And there's a reason for that. I like to think of the triple Qs as actually two indexes. It is 7 stocks that represent about 48% of the QQQ. Those 7 stocks: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Facebook, Google, Nvidia, and Tesla. Then the other 93 stocks represent 52% of that index. And that's been the part where all the volatility has been driven from. If you look at ARK Innovation Funds, the ARK ETF, it has been in a free fall. That's really a good look into kind of the bottom, the smaller names in the QQQ, where all the softness has really occurred. Apple is up over the last 3 months. Google, Microsoft, all strong over the last 3 months. It's the rest of that ETF that has really been softer in that period of time, that's really down, and where this volatility is emanating from.
Yeah, Mark, you know what's so interesting? It's the patterns that we're seeing emerge as well. You're getting 1 to 2% moves just in one session. You're round tripping in many cases. I mean, just using this morning as an example, with stocks down as much as they were to where they are now. Of course, it feels like every day this week it has been open lower, close higher, vice versa, or just a straight trip down. But it's the velocity and the percentage of the moves that stands out to me.
Yeah, and if you want to know what's going to happen, look, folks, watch that ARK ETF. It was up on the open, and the Nasdaq looked pretty strong. It went down. The whole ETF, the QQQ dropped, and now has kind of since recovered as ARK stopped selling off. We're seeing some strength in Microsoft. Apple's pretty flat. Google looking strong today, but again, you're right. We're seeing a lot of big intraday moves, and a lot of that has to do with what's going on with these bottom names. And when will the capitulation come in some of these high beta names? When are we going to see a bottom in a name like Zoom, or in Teladoc, or in DocuSign, or in Palantir? Some of these high beta names that are really driving the volatility across the market.
Right. And Mark, is it anything that has fundamentally changed with these companies, or is it because of the word inflation, because of interest rate hikes? So those kind of just the tag words that kind of, set the machines in motion anytime we get a headline about it? I mean, because it doesn't appear as if anything fundamentally changed with the companies, unless they were just so overvalued, and this is a way to more appropriately reset it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of them being very overvalued. They got way too hot, way too fast. And then we also are seeing a shift into some of the names, some of the energy names. Banking has been very strong. And so utilities. So we've got this inflation issue. We have interest rates. Rising interest rates are bad for growth stocks in general, especially growth stocks that need to borrow, that don't make money. So that is going to negatively affect a lot of these names. You merge that with the fact that they were way overvalued, and you get some of this selling. Now, a lot of them are off 50% off the highs. Some are off even more than that. And at some point, there is going to be people stepping in to say, hey, this is far enough, and putting a position on from a value perspective. But right now, all of the capital is being sucked up by the 7 mega caps in the QQQs, and energy, banking, and utilities that are kind of stealing the thunder of high beta.
All right. So Mark, last question here for you. How would you position if you're thinking about a volatility trade here? Clearly it's a bit expensive. And if you're thinking it could be a capitulation point, do you want to get long vol here, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, well, an interesting thing is, can the Nasdaq, can the QQQ go up when ARK is going down? Yes. Can can ARK go up without the Nasdaq going up? Probably not. So what I might actually look to do is pair puts in ARK with a long QQQ position, or QQQ calls with puts in ARK. And that way I'm able to kind of hedge off my downside. We know that on the down moves, ARK is going to outperform Qs. And on the upside, you're going to be able to participate in the Qs having a potential recovery if we do see a bid start to hit the NASDAQ, especially with those mega cap earnings coming in less than 2 weeks.
All right, Mark, we appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.